Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I had a whole bunch of people send me this story because it involves cars going up in flames, and it's a wild one. Ryan Felton wrote the story for the Wall Street Journal, but it's widely reported. A strange gas pumping defect is making $100,000 Corvettes go up in flames. You spend that money on a car, you hate to see it go up in flames, especially at a gas station. My worry is that not only would my car burn, but I'd somehow cause a conflagration to take out the whole business. So a man was refueling his high-end 2024 Corvette at a gas station in early June when the car spontaneously caught on fire, torching it in a matter of minutes. He turned to a Facebook group of Corvette enthusiasts and posted a video showing the supercar exploding out of the blue, sending a person at a nearby gas pump scattering away. He asked, anybody have any experience or ever heard of anything like this before? Car exploded while pumping gas. I have an idea, but would love to hear what everyone else thinks. So he was asked for comment for the story, but did not comment. And GM also wouldn't comment on the specific situation, but apparently there have been other similar incidents that GM would know about. And of course, they make the Chevrolet Corvette. Another social media post identified multiple cars that had burst into flames while pumping gas during a 30-day period. Later that week, a GM-owned Corvette test vehicle also caught fire, according to a company report. For the next few months, GM investigated the problem, trying to figure out what was going on, and then recently made a determination, recalling the vehicles. And they said they're doing this because in some Corvettes, a cooling fan that runs even after the car has been shut off could blow spilled gas on the engine and catch fire. I remember when they first started putting cooling fans in cars that would run after a car got shut off, and walking by a car that's not running, nobody's in it, and there's something running under the hood. And at first it's like, well, what? But I know it's common now. But they're saying that this cooling fan that runs could blow spilled gas on the engine and catch fire. So they're saying, look, if there was no spilled gas, it wouldn't happen. So GM said the issue is a rare occurrence, and faulty gas station pumps that don't automatically stop could be contributing to the problem. The recall affects more than 23,000 Corvettes that start at over $100,000 and are among the fastest cars ever made by GM. Now, I hate to tell you this, I've been pumping gas all my life, seemingly. And it's been a long time since I encountered one of those pumps that didn't shut off. But I guess it could happen. Owners shelling out six figures for a high-end supercar may think they're immune from the sort of dangerous defect affecting these Corvettes. But the issue is a stark example of how even the priciest cars in the market can be dragged down by a safety recall. And remember, if it's a safety issue, the manufacturer's got to recall the vehicles and repair them at no cost to the consumers because it is a safety issue mandated by NHTSA. GM says the safety of our customers is the highest priority for the entire GM team, and we're working to remedy this matter as quickly as possible. Now, the affected models are the Z06 and the ZR1 from recent model years, and they're well sought after supercars. And talking to a senior editor of CorvetteBlogger.com, who said they're obviously a little perplexed, the owners are. They want a safe car to be in, but many of them say, I filled up my car 100 times and have never had any issues. So it's possible that it is quite isolated. Safety defects tied only to when a driver pumps gas are rare. In 2009, Chrysler issued a recall for 19,000 Dodge Durangos with a faulty valve that would allow some fuel to escape at the end of refueling, potentially leaking onto an ignition source. Likewise, in 2005, Nissan recalled 192,000 vehicles because of a hose that could crack from exposure to the ozone, which could result in fuel leakage while refueling. Meanwhile, the executive director for the Center for Auto Safety said one potential issue is that a driver might encounter a faulty gas pump that doesn't automatically shut off but not realize it. How do you know when it's safe to drive off from a fuel pump if you've had one of these over-pump incidents? There's not a whole lot of guidance on how to approach what you should do. GM said that signs of pump may be malfunctioning include visible damage, the presence of leaked fuel, or any absorbent material on the ground near the pump from prior spills. So if somebody spilled gas there earlier and they're trying to clean it up, you might see that. The automaker advises owners to follow fueling instructions in their owner's manual, turn off the engine, confirm the nozzle is completely inserted in the vehicle, and don't top off the tank after the pump's automatic shutoff clicks once. GM has developed a fix, which is a shield that would divert spilled fuel, and they're working to finalize the supplier production and distribution plans. The remedy part is expected to be available in the next several weeks, a person familiar with the matter said. Before the recall was issued, nearly 1,600 affected Corvettes were on dealer lots, according to ChevyBlogger.com's Cornette, the man who spoke earlier. GM issued a stop sale notification to dealers as part of the recall, meaning those particular Corvette models can't be delivered until the fix is made. So Paul Stanford, president of Les Stanford Chevrolet, which of course is a huge volume Corvette dealer in the Detroit area, said, stop sales for anything is a problem for us because we have customers that want to take delivery. When it's 80 degrees and sunny, they want it now. And of course, we actually have that kind of weather right now in Michigan. It is. I hate to say unseasonably warm because it can be this warm this late in the year, but we've had a couple beautiful days. We had a great weekend, and so you can imagine that if you wanted to go out and buy one of these high-end Corvettes and enjoy it before the snow flies, which could be next week in Michigan again. Can't. You can buy it, you just can't take delivery of it, and it's a question of how fast they can get that recall working. So it's a wild story, but obviously it's a very severe problem, and if one goes up in flames, okay. A couple of them go up in flames, something's happening. And I've talked about that before. You're talking about product liability in general. There's primarily two things that can go wrong. You can have a manufacturing defect or a design defect. And a manufacturing defect means that there's a part out of a batch of parts, and a part can go bad, or a bunch of parts can go bad, but it's limited to a particular part that's bad. And so when the car gets assembled and that bad part goes in there, it causes a problem down the road. It can also be in the assembly process. I did this story a couple years ago about a bunch of cars that came down an assembly line one day, and during one shift, a torque wrench was set to the wrong torque specifications, which caused shifter cables to come undone down the road. Nothing wrong with the design of that vehicle. It was assembled wrong. But on the other hand, if there's a design where all the cars are exactly the same, and it just so happens that the way they are can lead to a problem, then it's a design defect. Now, they're going to say it's not a design defect in the sense that all these cars are defective. It's the fact that all these cars, when subjected to just the right circumstances, can have a problem. And theoretically, if it is people overfilling the gas and then it hitting a hot surface or whatever it might be, very well could be that if you never overfill your gas, your car will never have that problem. But you have to ask yourself what could happen in real world situations with the average person. And once you introduce real world and average person into the equation, all bets are off. So they're recalling them. They got a fix in the pipeline. They're going to get fixed. And it's not something crazy in terms of, it's going to make the car look different or perform different. It's just something to prevent spilled gas from getting it the wrong place while the engine might still be hot. So there you go. Thanks to everybody who sent that to me. Fascinating story. A strange gas pumping defect is making $100,000 Corvettes go up in flames. From the Wall Street Journal and Ryan Felton. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. If you can't be kind, at least have the decency to be vague.